Once again, great to see Dark being active here. We did miss him in the ZvT Monday, but he was here in time for the PiGosaur Monday instead. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of El Dorado, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, currently teamless. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is Epic. Go. Epic, of course, one of the stronger players in the Americas at the moment. I mean, we still have the hierarchy of, you know, your Estrella, your Scarlet, your Trigger, of course, Future just behind them or alongside them as well. When it comes to NA players, Epic definitely is a cut above the rest, alongside players like Dolan, for example. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see too much of Epic in the most recent Philadelphia. Would have been great to have seen him. I mean, that would have meant more TVTs. True, that was there were a lot of TVTs to begin with already. But regardless, always a little fun to embrace some Epic. For now, standard opener. We do have our hatch opener out of Dark. Dark, this is his go-to opener in this matchup in El Dorado, is a gasless opener. Now, this is something you can do on some of these safer maps that you can embrace. Maps like Radisson Station come to mind. Maps like Post Youth as well. The reason for this is because of how defendable you are on your 3 bases. What I mean by that, you don't need link speed. You don't need link speed early on. This 3rd base is very secure, despite the fact that, I mean, you can gain access to this 3rd base by mining through these minerals. Often Terran players don't really mine through these minerals. As a result, their Hellion-based openers can't really touch this. They can't really harass this location. Hellions that can only enter this base through the ramp, through the main entry point here at the natural, which means this is the only location that Dark has to defend. All he has to do is wall off. Just wall off with Evo chambers, with Queens. If he can protect this ramp, he can protect all 3 bases from Reaper Hellion. Sure, Reapers, they can go up the cliff faces, but Hellions cannot. So as a result, you can cut corners. You can cut corners and skip link speed. Skip gases entirely. So this is an opener that's very niche. Very niche. You can do this on Neon Violet Square. If you remember, Neon Violet Square is very similar. Oh, as one drone almost goes down. But Neon Violet Square has the pocket base, right? Has the pocket expansion. Abyssal Reef is another one where you can go gasless as well. King's Cove, I feel a little bit less confident, but you could probably get away with it on King's Cove as well. On these larger maps. Smaller maps that you can't, I would kind of look to Whispers of Gold, for example. Ley Lines feels risky. Ultra Love feels risky as well. But this gasless opener is more viable on El Dorado. And because there's no gases and because link speed is delayed so heavily, this typically leads into roach play. Into a Roach Warren, into Roach play in the mid-game. This can lead into a Roach all-in, or it can just lead into Roaches, then into delayed link speed, into Banelings, into Link Bane Roach Ravager. So Dark has options with how aggressive or how standard he wants to be with this. They can only enter through the rear. You're an animal, I established it. No, they can only enter through the front, Pappy. The front. It's the opposite. The other one, Pappy. They can't enter through the rear. That's why it's so good. Speaking of, there's Roach Warren. Now gases are being taken. As I mentioned, it's going to be a Roach-based opener. Oh my god. And I've been focusing a lot here on Dark. Epic did go for a 3rd TC before Starport Economic Opener into something less so. Economic Start into a Fusion Core, into BC, most likely into Mech. Okay, Epic, you have my attention. Let's go. Overlord does scout, and Dark, he does see the timing of the CC, so he knows about the Economic Opener. He does not know that instead of Banshees or Liberators, it is going to be Battle Cruisers instead. So Dark, he only has a piece of the puzzle, not fully aware of what's going on. You know, Epic trying to poke in is denied, is deflected. Likewise, Epic, he is now mining through these minerals. Mining through the center of the map, the Overlord does confirm. Now Dark knows to rotate. You can see the Queen's getting in position. Dark now taking his 4th. And the Queens are ready. Already they zone away those Hellions. How many Queens does Dark have? He's up to 5. Ooh, relatively low Queen count for Dark. 5 Queens. Massing up Roaches. No spores in either location. Greedy stuff here out of Dark. BC is all the way there. We go. Spores now being thrown down. They should finish up in time for the BC. Meanwhile, Epic reinforcing with extra Hellions. 8 Hellions and 1 Reaper. They got eyes on the 4th. Roaches are ready. And Hellions, they really tickle Roaches. They head towards the mineral line. Drones, they pull away. Oh, they line up. The drones. Oh my god, 5 of them do go down in one volley. Very nice shot. Another volley goes off. And workers are getting roasted here. Dark getting punished for his greed. 11 drone kills. Dark barely not in position in time. 11 workers go down. A good start here for Epic. Did cost him 8 Hellions. Bear that in mind. So it was not a free trade, but a good trade nonetheless. And Epic is not done. The BCs, they're coming. Meanwhile, it looks like he has triggered a counterattack out of Dark. He's moving out. He does get eyes on the would-be 3rd. Epic, he does think better of expanding at the southern location. Backs off. As Epic did have control of the Zarnaga. Dark is checking for the gold, and he will actually come across the BC. Yeah, very important scout here from Dark. Dark, meanwhile, supply blocked. Ooh, he is supply blocked. 4 overlords on the way. Queens are amassing back at home. Roaches, ideally, they buy time, and they do distract the BC. As Epic has yet to land a 3rd. He's trying to figure out where he wants to expand, going towards the northern base instead. Hydra then responds. Okay, Dark going Roach Hydra, not Roach into Corruptor. I mean, it makes sense considering that Dark, he has been investing into range-based upgrades. So he's going for Hydras. Roaches, they rotate around. They do get revealed here by the Marine. Epic, he's aware. Getting in position, establishing his 3rd base. The Mule Hammer has arrived. Meanwhile, I assume there's going to be BC into Meg. It's BC into Bio, and only 1 battlecruiser. Meanwhile, I believe that tank is stuck. Oh. The medevac's on the way. We'll save it. We'll save the tank eventually. Feels tank, man. Feels tank. Feels Terran SimCity. But yeah, only 1 BC, which is interesting. I mean, again, I'm sure he's hoping to force a reaction out of Dark, and Dark has yet to fully scout and fully realize what's going on. Yeah, there we go. We do see the factory's going to reposition. Yeah, they're just going to reposition the factory. Tanks, they've been let free. They can freely roam the bases. Let's go. Because the factory has to be landed elsewhere. Roach Hydra still amassing up. And Roach Hydra, it is a more old school composition, but it does still work, or it is still quite effective. It can be still quite effective here. Especially when it comes to these initial maxed out timings to deny the 4th. BC gets forced away. Double draw coming in. BC teleporting into the main. Does force a reaction. Double draw through the center. Queens, they respond to the BC. The Hydras, they respond to the drop. Drops head towards that main base as well. BC was able to get 2 drone kills, nothing major. Not yet. Double drop likewise doesn't really get into the mineral lines either. And Darky is keeping up. Well, the Medevacs, ooh, 4 Medevacs goes down. Both Medevacs go down. Aye, aye, aye. Yeah, brutal cleanup here. Darky shuts down the drop play. He only lost 2 drones. Now it's only the BC remaining. And yep, and teleport is on cooldown. Let's get the hell out of here. Dark pushing through the south. These mineral walls have not been opened up though. And Dark is out of position. Epic pushing onto creep. Dark has to race back home. He has to respond. Has to run all the way back to the natural. Trying to set us around. Gets 1 tank. He gets 1. Hatchery goes down. Dark being forced back. Once again collapsing in. Going for the tank. And tank is going to go down. There's 1 tank left. Dark doesn't quite have enough to keep going. Will catch reinforcements. Gets another tank. Aye, aye, aye. Every time he pushes in, just gets a tank for free. Not quite for free, but just picks up tank after tank. Still catching reinforcements. Shutting Epic down. Just cutting him off from his own bases, and he has to back off. Epic, he retreats. Falls away. Dark is held, and Dark is almost maxed out. Hive is done. Vipers are amassing as well. Dark is pushing forward. Takes down the final tank. Now it's purely Hydra. And against a melee Marauder-based army, Hydras, they can trade well. Oh! Lunging in. BC teleports in time. Does teleport the hell out of there. And Darky's broken out. Lunging forward once again. He wants the tank. He wants it. Ooh. Doesn't quite get it. Vipers, they have arrived. With help of Vipers, I mean, Dark, he can engage. Yeah, he can just dive in. Still waiting for reinforcements. Rotating around. Again, only one tank left. Here come the Blinding Clouds. And they cover the Bio Army. They cover the tank as well. And Dark, he can now overwhelm. Takes down the final tank here for Epic. One more tank on the high ground. Do we have another Blinding Cloud? Oof, not quite. Darky lunges away. Pulls back. Vipers regathering energy. Darky does have to retreat. At this point, going purely Ling Hydra. And GG gets called as he will overwhelm, and Dark takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Again, an interesting build by Epic. If you remember, initially he did quite well with his Hellion Harass. He was able to kill 11 workers, but his BC was lackluster. It was also kind of weird because it was only the one battlecruiser. You could argue that maybe Epic was hoping to force a Spire response and an overcommitment into Corruptor. I'm pretty sure that was the goal. Unfortunately, Dark didn't go Corruptor. He went Roach Hydra instead, which can still hold its own, especially in the mid-game against a more bio-heavy composition. We saw that it was trying to move out. He was trying to catch him off guard with a more bio-heavy style with tanks, but alas, he was surrounded. He was caught off guard. I'm a little bit surprised that the counterattack from Dark did so much. If you remember, Dark, he was constantly going for a backstab and catching reinforcement after reinforcement, despite the fact that he didn't really have much maneuverability there because of how narrow the entry point was from one half of the map to the other. I was concerned that Epic was going to abuse that location, but he was distracted, right? Epic, he was distracted. He was focusing on his main army. He was bleeding out a lot of units behind it, and GG. GG, well played. Very well done there by Dark. It can be very awkward to engage in that kind of position just because of the terrain of the map itself, but Dark, he handled himself well. Did handle himself very well, and with that, we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Did Max actually already? Max did not play in this tournament. He did not play in this tournament, did not sign up. Is not a part of this. And here we go, we're getting into our next game, and spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Frostline, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, leading the series 1-0. It is Dark. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the American Terran player representing Psystorm Gaming. It is Epic. We go. So we are calming things down. Dark are going to be going up a hatch first once again. Now we're loading into Frostline. Frostline, as we have mentioned in the past, is a large map, but on top of that is a very exposed map. The 3rd and 4th bases are very spread out. They're very isolated from each other, so the likelihood of Dark opening up gasless like he did in the previous game should be lower on Frostline. It should be more easier for the Terran player to abuse Dark just because of the entry point here towards the natural is much larger. Likewise, the 3rd base and 4th base are more exposed, or more wide open, or more, I mean, they're further apart. And there it is, Dark going hatch gas pool. He's going for a gas-based opener. Much more standard here out of Dark, and again, it makes sense because of the map itself. As we mentioned in the previous game, whenever Dark goes gasless, it is very much so dependent on the map. So if you're out there, if you're like, yo, I want to be like Dark, I want to play gasless, don't do that on Frostline. No, don't do that on Amygdala. It's very much so depends on the map itself. It's a PSA. be careful out there. Be careful. The actions seen by Dark, they're done by a professional. Do not try this at home. It's very dangerous. A lot of MMR will be lost. Referring to game 1, of course. Referring to game 1. So from here, we're settling in. Epic just going for a Rax Expand. Standard opener here out of Epic, and Dark likewise standard opener as well. Because of the earlier gas, this leads into Ling Speed, and this should lead into a more Ling Bane, a more standard kind of composition, not so much into Roach Hydra like we saw previously. Siema, baby. Siema. Good to see you. Dzień dobry. Dzień dobry, baby. As the Reaper does dance with the Lings. So far, Dark is able to maintain himself, though. Saves all the Lings. Zones away the Reaper. And Dark is holding. Behind this, Epic once again going for a third CC before Starport. As a reminder, this initial opener is the same that we saw in the last game, but this led into BC play in Game 1. Into battle cruisers, or I should say battle cruiser, because only one was made. I imagine that Epic, I wouldn't be opposed to him committing into BCs this time and going into 2-3 BCs instead, and then going into mech, and to try to mind game his opponent and play with the idea that it looks the same and it quite isn't the same build, but we'll see. Starport is in production, and here comes that Tech Lab. Ooh, it's looking like an add-on swap into Banshee play. But we'll see. Keep an eye on Epic to see if he does go for the add-on swap. Now it's being forced back. Ooh, Ling Speed kicks in, and the Reaper is going to be hunted down. Yeah, there is no escape. Reaper does fall. Back at home, there's the add-on swap into Banshees. No BCs this time. We'll see how committed Epic is going to be. He could either invest into Cloak with those Banshees or just go Vanilla Banshee with Hellion in towards the mid-game. Keep an eye on him. Now Hellions are being active. They're zoning back the Lings. Dark taking the triangular third. Massing up. Droning. No major tech commitments yet. Still a little bit too early for that. Epic going for a dive into the natural. Ooh. Almost does catch some of the transferring workers. Almost. Drones, they get away. Epic, he backs up. Stim is being resourced, so faster Stim here. No Cloak. Vanilla Banshees. Oh. As they do take down, well, the Hellions at least they take down one tumor. And Dark, he's going for an earlier lair. So, very safe approach here by Dark. He's going for a lair first build into Banelings, into delayed Evo Chambers and delayed upgrades. So, it's really safe play here from Dark. And this will head into Ling Bane. Basically, Dark is going to be prioritizing Baneling speed over upgrades. That Epic still trying to at least delay some of the creep. Still being active. Still being active. Falling back, securing his third. And of course getting to buy behind this. So getting the stem into what +1/+1. Combat shields. Following up with Bioplay. Unlike the previous game, Epic, he has not thrown away his Hellions yet. Last time he dove into a mineral line and he got 11 drones. This time he's being a little bit more passive with them. Being a lot more conservative. Just poking in whenever he can. Ooh, no scans available though, so it doesn't deny any of this creep. He's been muling too hard. And the Hellions are going to be forced back. Behind this, here come those 1/1 upgrades. Again, these are going to be later than the upgrades of the Terran. Dark already taking in towards an Infestation Pit. Now, with this faster Infestation Pit, this could be Dark heading into not just Ling Bane, but Ling Bane into Hive Tech, into Ultras. The longer this game goes on without a Hydrogen, without a Spire, the higher chances this is that it's going to be Ultras instead. And there it is. Here comes the Hive. Hive is on the way. I'm feeling Ultras. Dark getting a fourth. Taking a fifth. Banshees, they do hit the fourth. Not bad. Distracting Dark. But Dark, he does respond in time. Losing only one drone. Decent big ups here, but again, Epic is playing with fire. He's on creep. He has to get the hell out of here. Darky comes in with a surround. He catches out the Hellions. The Hellions go down. Brutal pickup. And Hellions don't scale amazingly into a longer game state, but what they can do is morph into Hellbats. The armory was about to finish. We could have morphed into Hellbats. We could have supported this main push. Alas, not anymore. So a strong start here for Dark. Shuts down the Hellions. Preserves his fourth, getting a fifth base. Hive is almost done. And show us those Ultras. Is what we're waiting for. See if we can get there. Epic moving out. He's got 2 tanks. 3 tanks even. Changeling does spot the move out. 2 drones falling to the Banshees. Tanks, they get caught on creep. Both tanks are going to be going down. Oh, they don't get tank shots off. And it's once again another strong start here for Dark. Epic down to 1 tank. And Dark, he has plenty of creep to work with. He collapses on the army. Tank is getting caught out. Ultra Cavern's on the way, but it may not matter because the army just crumbles. Yeah, the final tank falls. Dark, he pulls away. And Epic, he's running out of steam. He's running out of steam. He's running out of army. Ultra Cavern is on the way. And Dark, he's getting away with it. He's getting away with it at this point. Now, the downside of this kind of style from Dark is your lack of anti-air. Sure, there are queens, true. There are queens and they can support somewhat. But trying to catch out and trying to hunt down these medevacs is going to be that much more difficult for Dark. I mean, so far, it hasn't really mattered too much. Going for a massive link counterattack. Avoids the main army and hits the third. Yeah, third base is exposed. SCV is going to be going down and Epic, he commits. Oh, doesn't. Oh, never mind. Does turn around with some reinforcements. Commits here with at least his bio army. He's racing back home, but he will lose 10 SCVs. Not too many. But this will delay reinforcements. Darky backs off. And Darky is buying time for the Ultras. His supply blocked, but we have kind of splitting on the way. And Ultra production will soon begin. Show us the Ultras back. Again, Dark's still just waiting for those overlords. First Ultras on the way. Dark is ready for this. Turning back Epic. Likewise, at the same time, going for a counterattack. Bold move here by Dark. Heading towards that third. Collapsing on the reinforcements. Playing it safe back at home. Bailings, they do crash in. And Marine's going to be going down. Nice save here on those SCVs. They get picked up by the medevacs. Not bad. They get lifted. Epic, he holds. Epic has a pretty terrifying army behind this, getting his 4th CC on location. How many Ultras? Just the 1 Ultra so far. Just the 1. Dark, he can't quite engage here without any Vipers, at least not safely. But Lings, they get into the natural. They come in from behind. Dark, he doesn't pull the trigger yet. Getting 6 more CVs. He rotates around. Again, pushing into these 2 tanks is difficult, but Darky just avoids it. Just avoids it entirely, going for a massive link counterattack. Darky's maxed out. Back at home, the Ultras are holding, the Bailings as well. Lings, they bust into the mineral lines, natural and the third. Deepers do fall. Epic, he races back home. Epic's main army's out of position. Dark, he could try to collapse in. Do we borrow? Does Dark borrows? He gets into the main. Lings wreaking havoc. Even with Burrow just forcing out more scans. And Dark, he's just been so patient back at home. Building up more Ultras, getting into 3-3. Ooh, Bailings connect. And the Planetary's holding his own. Planetary's holding on. Dark, he runs into the main army. Is it time yet to pull the trigger? Not yet. Dark's still fighting his forces with more Ultras. The army supplies are still quite similar to each other, but of course Epic has no economy. Like, his economy is in shambles. Dark going for another Ling run by. Again, just never engaging into the lives and tanks. The patience battle. Lings, they hit the third once again. They force Epic back. They force him back for a moment. Oh, is that going to be a kill? It is. It's going to be a kill, not a cancel or a lift. Third base goes down. Oh, Dark finally committing here. Pushing forward. Liberator's going to be going down. They did overextend. Spores are set up as well. Dark still not quite committing. Thinking about it. Oh, actually having a really rough time engaging. Ultras are getting quite low. Meanwhile, at the same time, Natural goes down. Lings, they come in for a surround. And Dark, he just shuts down the army completely. Cleans up the tanks, kill the Natural. GG gets called, and Dark takes the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. GG, well played. Very patient play there out of Dark. Just non-stop counterattacks, non-stop link run-bys. What I should emphasize is that Dark, he was always secure back at home with at least some creep spread, and more importantly, with his Ultras, Bailings, Queens, and Spore Crawlers. His army back at home was just designed to buy time. Just designed to buy time and punish the army if he ever pushed onto creep, and just non-stop link floods across the map did eventually cripple Epic over time. Very well done. Very well played here by Dark. Once again, really patient play. Very impressive. GG. GG, well played. Again, I feel like a lesser player would have engaged with the main army ahead of time or earlier and taken a rough fight within range of the Liberators and the tanks. It would have been an inefficient fight, I should say, from the Zerg side of things. So Dark just was aware of that, respected it, did avoid it. Did avoid it for as long as he could. GG, well played. Dark will take the series. And that leads us into the semifinals. Leads us into the semis here. It's going to be a best of 3 between Dark and Creator. Let's go.